Good morning to all you coffee drinkers and Jesus lovers. Today it is Convos and Coffee with me, Pastor Mitch, and I am not a coffee drinker, so I don't have a dark roast or like some special cappuccino or something. But what I do have are two TY buddies. This is Kitty and this is Chip, and this guy right here is my little guy. My 6-year-old is Miles, is one of his favorite buddies, and this is my 9-year-old Sawyer. This is one of his favorite buddies. And these guys actually at one time belonged to me. And I was able to pass them on to my kids, and they absolutely love them. And this morning, I want to read to you guys a verse from Psalms 22. It's going to be Psalms 22, verse 6. If you have time, right after this video, I encourage you to go and read the whole verse. It is absolutely amazing, the amount of wisdom and just ideas that are placed in here by the psalmist. But today, I want to focus on verse 6, and this is what it says. Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. Now, I love this verse because it speaks to me in so many different ways. Number one, I think it's important that we understand that our kids have been given to us as a responsibility by God, and that, you know, one of the scary things about kids, something that my dad always told me, is that no matter how hard you try, you'll always see yourself in your kids. and that can be kind of freaky sometimes because there are things that I actually hear my kids say where I'm like, oh my goodness, I know I say that, or I'll see them do something, or just a look that they'll give, or something like that, or somebody will say it, they'll be like, wow, when he looks angry like that, Mitch, does he ever look like you, or something like that. And one of the things that we need to understand is that we have been given this amazing opportunity to shape, to mold, to care for, to raise the children that God has given us. And I just want to encourage you today, if you're a parent or if you're a part of a church, that we have a role to play. And so some people, when we're talking about children and they don't have any of their own, maybe they're a young adult or a youth, or maybe they just don't have kids and they're in their adult years, they'll go into lessons like these and studies like these, and they'll just simply tune out. But I want to encourage everybody that it is our job to raise the children that God has placed in the church. Not simply the job of the parent, obviously, that's the primary role, but if you attend a church, if you belong to a church family, you have actually been given a responsibility as well to help raise the kids. And so one of the ways that you can do this, that being a pastor's kid, growing up in church, and now having kids of my own, that I recognize is when you're in service together, when you are in Bible study together, when you are partaking and partnering in the things of the Lord, always remember that our young ones are watching. They're watching how we worship. They're watching how we talk to each other. They're watching how we treat each other. They're watching how kind we are to each other. They're watching how generous we are to each other. Young people are always watching these older role models, which, yes, now as I'm old, but they're always watching and they're always taking these things in. And I want to encourage each person today that no matter whether you have kids or not, let's be great role models for that generation that's coming up behind us, that generation that is about to go to school in September and deal with COVID on the front lines. Let's be an example of the hope, of the joy, of the peace that God brings. And let's show it to these young people by how we treat one another. Let's show it to these young people by how we worship and how we love God. And one of the cool things for me is that I have seen so many times, time and time again, people who have been raised in the faith, even when they stumble or they seem to walk away, if we have set that good example, no matter where they go or how far they try to run, one of the beautiful things about being raised in a Christian home is that if you have that good example of what real Christianity looks like, it will never leave you. And even when you grow old, seeing those great examples of who God is, watching the miracles happen before your eyes, those are the things that stay with you. Those are the things that no matter what you get into or where you go, where you end up looking around and saying, man, you know what? No, I do. I love Jesus with everything I have. And I just want to encourage those today who maybe you have a prodigal son and daughter who are not following Jesus. But just pray. Pray and believe. That was one of the main cornerstones for me when I came back to my faith, was that I had seen my parents live out this faith truly. So I knew that they believed in God. And when I was finally ready to give my life back to God, it was really prayer that made the difference in my own life. And so every time I look at these little guys who were once mine, I end up looking at my boys and just thinking, man, what an influence my parents had on me, and now I'm passing on to them. And so I want to encourage you with that today, that we have a great responsibility to the generation behind us, and I think they're going to be okay. We're gonna have an exciting time ahead. All right, God bless you guys. Have a great day. We'll see you at the end of the week for another Convos of Coffee.